Welcome, Black. If you guys like what you see here, make sure you share this with your friends, your family, your enemies. Like, subscribe, and hit that notification button. Let's get into the story. Now, this is a real interesting story. This is about a Lexington police officer who was caught with multiple drugs and a slew of evidence to lock him away for the rest of his life. But he only got 3 months suspension, um, none pay. If that makes you feel better. But I'm gonna get into this article, and I have a little piece to say afterwards. A Lexington police officer has been suspended for 3 months as he failed to turn over drugs he seized during traffic stops and other criminal investigations, and for violating other police procedures. According to documents the Lexington Herald leader obtained through an open record request, Kyle Blankenship 3 month unpaid suspension will begin October 3rd. He will remain on suspension until December 31st. The Lexington Fayette Urban County Council approved Blankenship's 3 month suspension during the September the 8th meeting. Documents related to Blankenship's suspension were not released at the time the council suspended Blankenship. That information is only released through an Open Records Act request. According to internal police disciplinary records, Blankenship brought his cruiser to Fleet Services for routine maintenance on May 5th. Staff at Fleet Services found drugs and other personal items in a box in a trunk. Police records indicate drugs seized were not documented as part of a criminal investigations. Officers are required under police rules to log every item seized, regardless whether it's criminal case according to police operating procedures. In a statement to police public integrity unit investigators, Blankenship said he was often responding to multiple calls and did not have time to log the items seized into evidence. Some of the items seized from Blankenship car included suspected marijuana, 7.7 grams, from a traffic stop where a driver was arrested on a warrant. Suspected marijuana, 12.8 grams, from a traffic stop where a driver was given a warning notice, and suspected marijuana was handed over by the driver. Suspected 1 gram of heroin in plastic baggie, origin not known. 3 folded up pieces of paper containing suspected heroin, 1 grams, origin not known. Multiple glass pipes, syringes, and scales recovered from multiple encounters. After being alerted to the evidence found in Blankenship's car, police reviewed Blankenship's activities in body-worn camera footage from January 1st to May. During that investigation, police also found other violations of police orders and procedures, according to investigative documents. There were multiple instances where Blankenship conducted a search but did not document that search as required under police operating procedures. Some of those searches where no paperwork was found included February 23rd, 2022. Searches were conducted of a garage, vehicle, and residence. Senior police officers expressed reservations that the voluntary consent for search by the subject would not have withstood a legal chance due to officers on the scene pressuring the subject to consent to a search. March 9th, 2022, during a planned smell search, when the officer says they may smell substance such as marijuana. During a traffic stop, Blankenship discovers a small pan containing suspected marijuana and dumps it onto the ground, according to internal investigation. Blankenship should not have destroyed evidence on the side of a road, officer said. The evidence should have been booked according to police procedures. Blankenship had also taken personal identification cards. In addition, officers also found multiple instances where Blankenship activated his body worn camera too late or stopped recording prematurely. The investigation revealed policy violations related to property and evidence procedures, search records, and body worn camera procedures. Blankenship was drug tested after officers discovered the narcotics in his trunk. That test was negative. Blankenship admitted to investigators that his work was sloppy, according to documents. Blankenship did take responsibility for his actions, and what he admitted were clear policy violations. He did offer up a justification for his behavior by stating that he was a high activity officer who focused on going from call to call, attempting to be as productive as possible. He agreed that he did not book in amounts of narcotics that he believed personally were not a sufficient amount to his merit placing of charges, according to the investigative report summary. He told investigators that in the future he would keep evidence bags and proper packaging items in the cab of his vehicle to help facilitate appropriate evidence collection practices. Blankenship accepted Lexington Police Chief Lawrence Weathers' recommendation of a 3-month suspension, according to disciplinary records. So let me get this correct. This officer is able to break all kinds of laws, take weed, heroin from suspects, keep it, um, because he didn't come off like a drug addict, which he was most likely a dope dealer and taking these drugs and paraphernalia back into the community where he got them from. Um, he was suspended for 3 months. No jail time, no real investigation. Um, free to go. They found these drugs on him, on his in his police car in a box, which means that he placed them there, and he was able to say, "Well, I was just a little sloppy, and just because I was a little sloppy doesn't mean I'm a drug dealer or a crackhead." So yeah, no harm, no foul, and this is the main problem of the dominant society. Every time they do something, they make sure that it's not only rules that apply to what's your race. They make sure that they do it in front of everyone's faces, that they're very biased, and when it comes to themselves, they do not punish themselves for the most egregious crimes committed. Muhammad Noor, I think that was his name, accidentally um, shot that white woman. And even though he's either being released soon or is already released, um, he was placed in jail for a few years over that. But you have this white cop, obviously, who got caught with drugs red-handed, and he's just able to say, "Oh well, I'm a little messy. I forgot to drop him off. My bad." And yeah, racism 101. This still goes on today. It's no different from back in the day. The only difference is today they just not being called out on it because everything's supposed to be equal. I want to thank you all for listening to my rant. Stay black, stay on code, and stay protected. Until the next video.